Today, 5 of the 6 suspects accused in the deadly shooting at a Sweet 16 birthday party in Alabama were in court for a bond hearing.
Yeah, 4 people were killed at that party. 32 others were hurt when shots rang out during the celebration back on April 16th. Police have not said what the motive was for that shooting. NBC News correspondent Guad Venegas joins us now from our Miami bureau. Guad, we know 2 of the suspects are brothers. The mother of one of them spoke out to NBCNews.com about the charges. What more do you know about these suspects, their connection to the victims, and also what happened at the court hearing today?
Vicky, this court hearing was closed to all cameras. In fact, we only had a producer who was able to take notes. We just spoke to get more details. So we finally got details of what happened during that shooting at the incident. So as you mentioned, there's 5 suspects that we had been informed would be at this bond hearing. Now, today we learned that 3 of the suspects were at the bond hearing. These are the 3 suspects that are adults. One is 20-year-old Wilson Lamar Hill, Johnny Latron, who's also 20 years old, and Willie George Brown, 19 years old. Now, the other 2 suspects, the first suspects that were actually arrested, these are the McCullough brothers. One is 16, one is 17. The district attorney told our NBC News producer on location they will have a separate hearing because they are minors. Now, additionally to these 5 suspects, there is another suspect, a 15-year-old whose identity has not been disclosed, who will have a separate process. So it's a total of 6 suspects. 3 of them appeared at this hearing today. Now, the judge has between 24 to 48 hours to make a decision if he grants that bond to the suspects. We also learned a lot of details. We learned today that 7 guns were used, 7 different handguns, 4 different calibers. And now what the testimony indicates is that 2 of the individuals that died the night of the shooting could have been involved in the shooting itself. In fact, one of the details that we learned is that Holston, who's one of the victims that died, was at some point, according to testimony, wearing a ski mask, and a gun was also found with that victim. So a lot of details in this court hearing. We also learned that the room in which this happened was very small. And authorities are still trying to figure out because they've only recovered one of the guns that was used in that incident. So various details. This is the first time that we hear from investigators and from the district attorney during this hearing for the 3 adults of the 5 suspects that we had been told would be in court today.
So, Guad, you mentioned this, the 6th suspect, 15 years old, not included in today's hearings. Do we know why that is when we consider that there are 2 others who were there today? They're also minors.
Joe, we don't. We know the chronological order in which the suspects were arrested, right? So this all happened. If we go down, this happened on the 15th of April. And then on the 18th, they arrested the 2 brothers, the McCullough brothers, who were 16 and 17. On the 19th, they arrest Lamar Hill Jr., who's 20 years old. Then on the 20th, they announced the arrest of Johnny Latron and Willie George Brown, who are both adults. That same day, they announced the 15-year-old. Now, the press release we were given is that the 15-year-old would be held separately while the first 5 suspects would go to this bond hearing. But today, the district attorney told NBC News that it would only be the 3 individuals who are adults who would be in this bond hearing, and that the other 2 minors would have their own hearing. We've also been told that all of the suspects face the 4 counts of reckless murder. So, again, this is the first time that we hear details of what happened that evening since the investigation began. And in fact, the FBI is still asking people for any videos or photos that may help them with the investigation.
All right, Guad Venegas. Guad, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.